Hi everyone, so I'm just here to talk to you about Community and Family Studies, which is a Stage 6 subject that falls under the PDHPE framework. So the Community and Family Studies stands for all social inequities, community issues, life issues that all surround in today's society. So what we do look at in the year 11, we focus on the interactions between groups, families, and the communities. So we look at individuals and how the interactions occur for those individuals. We look at families and how the different families have different interactions. We look at community groups and how community groups are supported, how community groups support families and individuals, and how funding and government services, and we look at all of the ways and whys that these groups and families and individuals work. And it lays the groundwork for the Year 12 course. In the HSC course, we focus on the well-being of individuals, families, communities, and how society influences individuals, families, and communities. And that is very broad, but we focus on well-being as a whole, and it is all from year 11 all the way through year 12. It is the key focus of CAFS. We look at the different areas of well-being, so physical, social, emotional, spiritual, and cultural. We look at all of those and how they impact on an individual, families, communities, and how that impacts the decisions and inequities and all of those things surrounding. What you can take from CAFS is you can get a perspective on life. You can gain empathy for certain community groups and why these things happen and how they happen, and why certain groups get more funding than others, and why there's gaps between these groups and the greater community. You'll also get skills and knowledge that will help you be a more community-minded person. So you'll get background knowledge. You'll be educated on why all of these groups and individuals experience these inequities and how their well-being is impacted, and then how that impacts their life. You'll also gain personal qualities, and you'll see that the relationship between community members and the resources that they have. So all of it is very real life, and you can take all of these skills into being a general community citizen in the future. Where can these skills in CAFS take you? They can take you into social working jobs, teaching jobs, caring jobs, nursing jobs, welfare jobs. The list is endless. So it is an ATAR subject, so it does take you into university, can get you into TAFE, because all of those careers, some of them have TAFE as an educational option, and into the workplace to apply these skills. All CAF skills are real life. Everything that we learn, all our examples are all real life. It's very easy to remember, because you can use what you hear on the news, what you're hearing in daily life, and apply it to the community and family studies content. So you'll see here the prelim content and the HSC content. You have 3 cores in the prelim content. You have resource management, individuals and groups, and families and communities. Resource management is a goal setting, needs and wants, values, community, communication, decision making, all of these skills you'll learn in this topic. In core 2, you learn more about individuals and groups. So you learn about group identity, how you build positive relationships within groups, certain types of leadership, how to deal with conflict in groups, certain roles that people adopt in groups. And these groups can be in the workplace, they can be friendship groups, they can be family groups, how individuals and groups use power, so how they use power to get the group to conform. So all of this is very real life. So you learn about all of these things in context for workplaces, in context for individuals, sporting teams, and we apply them to real life examples. And then core 3, you learn about families and communities. So exactly that, you learn about certain types of families, different family structures. So you learn about different communities and why communities need more than others, and how those communities and families then manage change. So going from a nuclear family to a sole parent family, or going from one community to another, and how they manage change. We look at how certain families make decisions, who makes the decisions, how they make the decisions, and then then we also look at communities and how they make decisions. And then we look at families and communities and how they both interact with each other. So how families impact their communities they're living in, and how the communities impact the families and the decisions that they have available to them. In the HSC course, we have three cores and one option. So we have research methodology, which is the independent research project. So you learn all about how to undertake research. So very handy if you're off to university or in any job, really, learning how to gather all the information you need to make a decision. This core, you can pick any topic that you're interested in and make it fit to the CAF syllabus, and then you research it. So you do the primary research, you gain all your own data, then you look at data that's already been gained, so secondary research, and you come to a conclusion from your area that you are researching. So you develop a question, you do all your research, you come to a conclusion. Core 2 is all about groups in context. So we look at the 4 groups of youth, people with disabilities, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, and GLBTI. And then we look at the issues impacting those 4 groups. And we also look at how these groups and their well-being is impacted, because these are minority groups. We look at factors impacting individual lives. We look at education, we look at health, we look at all the specific needs. And then we look at how these groups advocate for themselves, but also how these groups are advocated for through government and through services out there. So it is a very interesting topic, groups and context. The next core is parenting and caring. This one is where we get to know the different types of families. Again, we learn what a parent is, we learn the different types of parents, we learn carers, we learn all of the areas and factors that affect parenting and caring. So the decisions they make, how they build their positive relationships, how the family structures work. We look at support networks out there for parents and carers, how they can be supported through being a parent or carer. And we look at how the parent and carer can affect their dependent, so their child or the person they're looking after, so how their decisions affect them, how they're providing their needs, and how that affects the dependent. We also apply these to real life situations. So we use celebrities as examples. We use our own family lives as examples. We use up-to-date news as examples. So this topic is very current. It's always has up-to-date examples. It's easy to relate to, and it is probably my favorite topic to learn in CAFS. And then finally, we have our option, which is individuals and work, which everyone can relate to for this, because everyone will have experience being in the workforce, or will be on their way to experiencing the workforce. So we look at issues in the workplace. So we look at OH&S, we look at anti-discrimination, we look at youth and why they can't get why they're struggling to get jobs. We look at ways people undertake work, so more online now. We look at working from home, we look at part-time, job share, seasonal, and then we look at the rights and responsibilities that employees and employers have in the workplace. And this is where you can apply this to everyday life, because you'll understand what rights and responsibilities you have in the workplace, so you can better educate yourself and protect yourself against being in trouble in these places. We look at entitlements in the workplace. So we look at pay rates, awards, we look at what workplaces should be offering. And then we look at issues impacting youth in the workplace. Specifically this year, we used the COVID example because that was a huge impact on the workplace. So this area is very easy to connect with because it is very real life. It's a very up to date. Everyone will experience a workplace, whether that's paid or unpaid. We look at why people work. So it's very current. So in CAFS, everything is connected. So, for example, we have parenting and caring could also be connected to individuals and work because we look at types of jobs and parents and carers and how that impacts jobs. Wellbeing, as I said, is an overarching concept of CAFS. So it comes from year 11, it goes all the way through to year 12. And everything we do, as I've said many times, everything we do is from real life examples that you will be able to relate to. So CAFS is a very real life, relatable, informative subject. CAFS also has a lot of content, so it is for the students who are willing to work hard. We have got really good results in the past, but CAFS is a subject that it has a lot of content. It's easy to relate to, but it has a lot. So being on top of your study notes, being on top of classwork, everything like that. CAFS is also a very enriching subject for later job prospects. It can, as you can see in the past comments here, societal examples, it was some of their favourite subjects. It was a real eye-opener for some. You've got to invest time in CAFS, as I was saying, studying is the best time, applying knowledge. So CAFS is a really interesting and engaging subject if you really work hard at it. So why CAFS? It's fun, some really great discussions I had, and activities are engaging. You already know some of it because you've been doing it in PDHPE since year 7. It's very well organised, everything's colour-coded. The teachers that teach it are passionate, we love it, we enjoy this subject. Everything you know is transferable from many different subjects. If you're doing PDHPE, you can also transfer some knowledge from CAFS to PE. It's a really good subject. So I encourage everyone to get involved in this subject if it's for you. Give it a go. Us as teachers are willing to put in the work if you're willing to also put in the hard work. We want everyone to succeed and we welcome anyone into CAFS. So if you have any questions, please see myself or Miss Box or Mrs. McKechnie or Mrs. Can about any of the questions to do with this subject. Thank you.